My name is Beth Barbeau. I'm a homebirth midwife. I also do natural health coaching for families and have for many decades. Here on the internet, information is judged by how fancy, how fast, and how glossy are the reels. And I thought I'd like to demonstrate to you that when we're working with healthcare professionals, it's actually kind of important to know where they're coming from and what is their depth of knowledge, not just how do they package it. I think that it's important that if we get to go to the doctor or a midwife or we involve other professionals in their care, why wouldn't we introduce ourselves, explain our training, and talk about it? I think it's pretty important. So that's what I'm doing here today. It's just to let you know where I'm coming from. I fell in love with babies when I was a little kid. My training as a home birth midwife is the old-fashioned kind. I started as going to births for free and getting trained for free, working there in the late 70s, early 80s. I was very lucky in that I met women who were part of something called the Motor City Midwives in Detroit, Michigan. And honestly, back in those days, you were a midwife if you had been to 20 births because no one else had been to any. Anime's books were brand new, and the whole idea was that we were saving midwifery because it nearly died out. The parents were very spunky. They wanted home births, and our childbirth ed classes were 12 weeks long, 3 hours a week. And they had to each, both of them, read the whole book. We would do one whole night on nutrition. We would do half a night on loss. What if? These were very thorough times for education, and it really shaped me. I feel so lucky that I got to come of age with these incredible women who were very spunky, forward-thinking, and really pioneers. It's hard to explain to today's world, literally, what it was like at that time. It really is a different world and a very different way of going about things in healthcare. I'm 60 now. I've been a senior midwife for over 25 years. I have over 40 years of birth attending under my belt in the natural health world. To me, natural health and natural birth go together. I always saw them as a marriage, though I've come to understand that not everybody does. But that's how I talk about it. So Indigo Forest, my business, was a storefront for nearly 10 years, a place where we had natural health remedies and free breastfeeding support groups and children's toys and all that kind of stuff. And my idea, the byline has always been healthy births, healthy lives. And to me, it's a package, helping women have healthy births, whatever that means to them and their babies, their bodies, their journey that time, leads to healthier lives for all of them. And if we can help people's lives be healthier, it does lead to healthier births. I see it as a whole. And, the old model of midwifery was that it wasn't really just about that day that the baby came out of mom's vagina or the incision or whatever. It was the whole. It's the person that you went to. Some moms need a mom. They need a grandma. They need an auntie. They need consulting. They need someone who's a little farther down that road, someone to talk to. Because I found that my clients, like the old days, would come back to me because their 2-year-old had a fever, they weren't sure what to do. Or their 5-year-old had an illness that worried them. Or their mom or their dad or their grandma was winding down and they needed support and information. And the same kind of support that helped them grow as parents and into mothering, into fathering, also helped them grow into these other chapters. What happens when we go through menopause? Who do we talk to then? It's really a life cycle. So I'm coming at it from this perspective, a background of an organic apprenticeship that went on off and on for a number of years. I ended up getting a pre-med degree, which sounds important, but didn't really affect my birth stuff at all. I've had literally probably thousands of hours of conferences, both taking them and then eventually, leading them and teaching them, learning with great people. My original midwives that I got to apprentice with was Anne Fry, who's gone on to write incredible textbooks, and Harriet Hartigan, who was a midwife after being one of the world's literally first birth photographers. So back in the late 70s, she was carrying around slides and a slide projector and making presentations about birth. And there wasn't bookstores with whole bookshelves with pictures of birth. You could not watch birth videos from your Instagram account at these stoplights, even though you're not supposed to. You couldn't. You only saw births if you had been there. And then eventually if you went to a conference and they had a film projector and they somehow got their hands on births. Do you understand? It was so different. How many generations? It's said that there's 10,000 generations of successfully birthing women behind this, like a person right here today. 10,000 or so. This person is a model of success. 10,000 generations. A woman had a baby who lived long enough to have a baby, who lived long enough to have a baby, who lived. for this person to be here pregnant right now. It's an incredible legacy of success and of health and well-being. So where do we go with stuff like that? And how do we help women feel that power? I used all those conferences. I used that time with those incredible teachers and mentors. Of course, we're still all teamed up. And eventually, I also wrote and helped to found a Holistic Doula program where I taught and was the lead instructor for a decade as well. And so I'm bringing all this information, and in large part, I backed off from delivering or catching babies in the last year or two because my clients for so long, literally decades, have said, this has been transformative, this way of looking at things and this different way of being supported. And how do I share it? How do I share it with my sister or my sister-in-law out in California or my neighbor down the street? There's only so many people you can reach. So here I am on the internet at 60, learning technology, learning to say hello in this new format, but I'm really charging you. I encourage you to really check out who you're taking information from. I'm discovering on that internet thing, boy, it's really easy to get sucked in. And if their soundtrack is good, it's really fun. But that does not tell us that the information comes from somebody who has walked the talk, who has been with women in the middle of the night, who has stopped people from bleeding, who has breathed for babies to help them come around, who has been working with herbs for many decades. You want to make sure that the advice that you're getting is coming from a place of experience, of expertise, of education, and of a sound background. It's an honor to be here and to talk to you and to have all of you as new friends. I look forward to more.